Good evening, everyone. This is Late Night with Cap. This is JT. It's good to see you. So this is the second episode of March, and this episode is going to be a fun one. We're going to talk about video game consoles from our past. I have a wonderful guest that does movie reviews. That's fantastic. So we'll talk about what she does, and of course, we'll do bad graphic design, and we may have a Bigfoot sighting. So. Before we get started with my guest, though, I do want to make a couple announcements. This March is going to be a little weird. I may have a show next week for St. Patty's Day. If not, I am probably going to be taking about a break for about a good little bit, just for some personal things. But doesn't mean I'm not going to post anything on the channel. It just means there won't be might not be any live streams. But I'll keep you updated on the community posts because I know you all enjoy these live shows. So I'll tell you when I will come back. But let's go ahead and bring on my guest. She's a YouTuber. She's according to her Twitter bio, she's a mom. She's a YouTuber, and she likes loving watching movies and reviewing them. So let's go on and bring on Rhetorical Thrill.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing tonight?
Good. I'm glad you were able to come on.
Yes, me too.
We were backstage. I was telling you that I enjoyed your movie reviews because if the chat doesn't really, sometimes people don't know everyone who comes on this show. It'd be great if you kind of describe your channel and what you do. And I think that would be great.
Yeah, sure. So what I do basically is I take movies that I haven't seen before and I record myself watching them and just kind of give my thoughts as I'm watching. Usually make some smart aleck remarks, just review, make comments, and just basically enjoy it. Like kind of like you would if we were watching together is kind of my angle. So
I
it's
think
really good to help me see things I haven't seen before. There's a lot of old stuff that I'm just like, why haven't I ever seen this? And I never make time for it. And it's like, well, now I have to.
Yeah, so now you watch it and you react. Sometimes you laugh at the jokes, or sometimes you're like, "That's silly, that's stupid," or you really get involved with some of the stories, and you can really see that while you're watching. I think that's great. So anyone who has not checked out her stuff, please do. You can follow her on Twitter, and you can also her link for her YouTube channel is in the description. If one of my mods wants to post that for me, that would be great. You just recently reviewed Footloose, and that was one of my favorite reviews of you.
Good.
That's one of my movies that I don't really like to admit that I like, but I do like it just because of Kevin Bacon and
he's excellent in it.
Yeah, and his dynamic with his buddy, where he teaches him how to dance, is so funny. So
best part. That was my favorite part. That whole thing that they had together. They had more chemistry together than he did with the girl. Honestly.
Yeah,
I could have watched the whole movie of just those two.
It was quite the bromance. It was one of the best bromances.
I loved it.
In the 80s.
That's the thing about 80s movies is that there's stuff that always surprises me. You think, because the movie's so old, you think you know everything about it. You think you've heard about it. You think you know what to expect, and then they'll throw something at you like that, the bromance, or just the acting from Kevin Bacon and John Lithgow. It's not anything you'd expect to see in a movie like that. You expect it to be kind of fluff and silly, and there was a lot to it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And you mentioned in that video that you weren't quite sure if that's like the real, like that stuff really happened at that time, where they couldn't dance, or they couldn't do certain things. I believe that's true. I believe there were towns in that around that time period where you could drive county lines and you wouldn't be able to dance, or you wouldn't be able to drink, or you wouldn't be able to watch a movie. And it doesn't seem like that's too common anymore. But
right.
Yeah. And they remade that movie too, by the way.
Yeah. So I've heard.
Well, before we continue on, let's go ahead and say hi to some people in the chat. I know I saw my favorite, one of my favorite folks here is Joker Voice. He says, "I'm here to start the dang show." Yeah, we were kind of on time. It's okay, man. And then we got Miss Cannoli Sasquatch, Spice It Up. Okay, you want Joker to spice it up. Okay, very cool. And then we got Wookie Be Bad. Good to see you, man. And let's see here. And then you met R2 backstage.
Yes, I did.
So he cordially invited you to come on after the weekend. So that'd be kind of cool
Yes.
when we pick a movie for that.
I
Thanks,
will talk
buddy.
to pretty much anybody about just about anything. I like to
Really?
talk. So
Well, this
you
is
get me
this is
on
a
the
good
right
show for that.
topics. You get me on the right topics, and I will just go.
All right, good to see you, Beard of Liberty. Let's see here. Oh, and little Spidey. This is R2's son. He always likes to chime in here, so he always comes in to watch. And then you have a fan here. Look at
See, hi Z.
it. Good to see you, Z.
She is one of my best pals. We hang out
Okay.
in some other. We hang out in another reactors community. So
Okay, cool. Good to see everyone new. If you are new, make sure you hit the like. And if you after the show, if you like it, and you want to see more, you please subscribe. That would be fantastic. And you've done pretty good on the numbers. I don't really like to I don't really like to focus on them too much, but you recently hit 1,000, and I think you're up to a good number. And that just shows you that the quality of work you're doing. A lot of people do you enjoy your stuff. That's really cool.
I hope so. It's hard to tell sometimes, it's hard to tell. And it seems like when people can see it, they seem to like it. It's just getting people to see it seems to be just it's tough. Have to find something that hits. But
and
in the meantime, it's still fun to just do it.
Yeah. My guest last week, Alex, said as long as you're consistent and you're steady, your audience will be there for you, and then it will kind of organically grow. And I thought that was pretty cool. So Rick says,
good way of putting it.
I live in a county that you can't buy booze from stores on Sundays, but you can order it at all the restaurants or bars.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, that's a little different. I think this town, you literally could not dance in this town.
I wanted to know too, what would they have done? Like, would they actually have arrested them? I kind of wanted to know that part a little bit more. Like, was it just one of those things where it's like, it's illegal, so don't do it? Like, they certainly didn't seem to stop the kids from doing everything else. So I don't know.
Maybe there's like a local jail cell there where they hang out for 24 hours.
Yeah, is that where is that where you go? I mean, you really gonna arrest everybody's kids? I don't know. If it was just a fear thing, I don't know.
Or maybe they go to like a dance sensitivity class.
Maybe. Of course, I mean, he got bricks thrown through his window, so who knows how far this is going to go.
Poor Kevin Bacon. He gets bricks thrown at him for dancing, and he gets chased by big worms. So
he didn't do anything wrong in either case. Honestly, it's not fair.
That's funny. So yeah, Rick confirmed you've got like 1,200 subs, so that's pretty cool. So I'm going to congratulate on that. So whenever we have something cool on the show, we do a cap dance, by the way. That's a fan favorite.
I like it. I like
it. Yeah, and then he would dancing Cap would probably be arrested a lot. So let's see. I think dancing has landed JV in jail a few times. But I think that had more to do with the lack of underwear, and it was a Denny's. Oh, okay. That's
that'll do it.
Mm-hmm. But hey, he got to sing for Guardians. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. He was singing for see, everybody loves
the holiday thing. Was that what it was?
Yeah, he was in the.
I never got around to it. I meant to, but
yeah, I'm kind of burnt out of Marvel, even though I like some of the characters, especially Captain America. But
I got burnt out on it a long time ago. So
yeah,
it's all the same to me. I pick what I like, and what I like is pretty much it's Guardians. That's about it. I was done. I think after Endgame was done, nothing has appealed to me since then, and I don't got time to watch stuff that I'm not interested in. So.
I would agree with that. I would agree. So let's see here. Let's see. Peacemaker was the best answer. Oh, okay. I didn't seen that one either.
Didn't see that either.
Sorry, Brett. So on this show, usually what we do is we review some bad graphic design, and I'm not sure if you've
seen that. I have seen that.
Okay, very cool. So this time around, since we're going to review some old video game consoles, I kind of wanted to theme it around old video game covers, and there's some pretty bad ones out there.
I'm sure.
So I think we're going to have a fun time with that one. Before we get started, though, Jacob Ironstein usually throws in the dad jokes. So he says, "What do you get when you dress the Hulk as Captain America, the Star-Spangled Banner?"
That's a good one. I like that. That's a good one.
That is a good one. Yeah, he usually brings in the good ones. So he's really good at that. I don't know where he gets them. I don't know if it just comes out of his head or he has some book with all these or not. Let's see here. So the first one I want to cover with you now, we all know all the fun games. We recognize some of the covers, and there's a lot of racing games out there, right? There's old school racing games like I think one of them was like F-Zero. There was the one with the red Corvette when the guy and the lady. But do you remember Canaria Rally?
Can't say I do. What is that?
I don't know.
I think it says Carnage.
Maybe it could be a very unique way of spelling
Carnage
Rally. Yeah, this was on Game Boy Advance, and this is very like early 2000s. I can tell like the blue hair.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what's happening. Is he getting run over by the car? Maybe.
Hopefully.
There we go. Oh, maybe he knows. It's probably pronounced Carnage. Okay. Probably set in India. Okay, so maybe it's an Indian game. Okay.
Just the car and the font and him, none of it goes together at all.
No, maybe the flags in the background because they're checkered.
Maybe. Wow.
He looks terrified. Like looks like he's been on a bender for at least 72 hours.
Very dark circles. Very dark circles there.
Yeah, he looks like he would probably show up to Joker's bar at like 8 a.m. right before he closes. So, theme park's like, what is this? Brett says RC Pro-Am was my favorite racing game. Okay. Yeah, I think I remember that one. I think I do. Let's see. That is a shovelware if I've ever seen. Okay. So yeah, I don't know if you remember this game, but I thought this was a pretty unique one.
It's a good word.
So here's this one's kind of a famous cover. When I mentioned I was going to do this cover, these reviews, R2 said, "Are you going to do this one?" And this one looks like it was kind of drawn by a kid. So this is Mega Man for the Super NES. Now you know who Mega Man is, right?
Yeah.
Does this look like Mega Man?
No.
He's got like the squished arm there, and his head's his helmet doesn't really match up with his. It's almost like they got their kid to draw it, and then they.
Yes. It looks like somebody cosplaying a bad Wolverine.
It looks like Poop Pants Man. Okay, yeah.
He doesn't look comfortable, that's for sure.
Yeah, let's see. Mega Man is known as Rockman in Japan. Well, he doesn't even look like a Rockman. He looks like everything is disproportionate with him. It doesn't look very good at all. Let's see. Yeah, Rick says he does remember this one, and even the background with the checkerboard back there. It's very 80s, right?
Yeah, that's 80s, 100%.
And then what's going on in the background with the palm trees? And there looks like a fire at if you look way in the background, there's like a palm trees. I know you're on your iPad, so you may not see this, but there's like palm trees, and there's like a chemical plant or something on fire.
Yeah. There's stuff going on. That's for sure. Wow.
And if you were to see this game and you didn't know what it was, what would you think the game was for?
Not a clue. I don't even know that I would look at this for very long.
You would probably, but it was a popular game.
Walk on by.
People liked it, so because it made multiple. So
yeah, I never played Mega Man myself. I know of him and I've seen him. Obviously, I'm familiar with the property, but never actually played the games myself. But
okay,
yeah, yeah, that one wouldn't have caught my interest.
So this one came off. Yeah, I didn't want to introduce it at all. I just wanted to get your reaction. So this is Trevor McFur in the Crescent Galaxy. This was on Atari Jaguar. Yeah, there's like
the first furry game.
Yeah, meow.
What else can that be?
I just think it's a planet of cats, leopards. You know, they got like a leopard dating looks like a lynx there, and they look like they're bound together, maybe. But it is a Jaguar. It's on Jaguar.
Yeah, yeah.
This is, yeah, furries.
It's not poorly drawn. I think at the very least, the animals are not terribly drawn, but
that's a furry's
it's a
wet
weird,
dream.
weird. Yeah, it's definitely I mean, that's literally what I see. That's literally furry art. So
yeah, and if you look at, there's even like a chrome skeleton of like a cow.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, so hey, if you're looking for retro games for the Jaguar, maybe there's an emulator out there that you can check out and you can watch. You can play Trevor McFur in the Crescent. Trevor McFur. I want someone to change their Twitter tag to that. I think that would be funny. Thundercats.
You get a lot of weird DMs.
Probably. I had that Jaguar and an eye patch. Okay, I would. Hold on. I would that Jaguar.
I think
if that Jaguar I had. Okay, I think he's meaning it could be Nick Fury. That could be.
Nick Fury.
The final boss. That's the final boss. Oh, what is the final boss? Did you pick one? I wonder what the final boss. I think
maybe Nick Fury is the final boss.
Okay, yeah, everyone likes the Nick Fury. That's pretty funny. Yeah, because maybe this game is on somewhere that you can find. I not sure about this, so it could be a good game. Who knows? So usually I do 3 graphic designs, but you get a bonus one.
Ooh.
Because there was so many bad ones, and I was like, I had to do one more. And this one, it's on a system that was kind of around Atari, like the original Atari. So it was on, I think, the Commodore 64. Yeah. And most people don't know even what this game was even about. It's just there's a cover of it, and it's a very rare game. And this is called Prism Cock In.
What?
Yeah. Aren't you glad you got the bonus one?
I am actually. This is hilarious.
So, if anyone in the chat has ever played Commodore 64 and you may have come across this game, please tell me. But it looks like they've got some like rooster headdresses on. I'm not sure what she has in her fingers.
No, I can't tell either.
No.
I don't like it.
Yeah. Yep, Nicole. Thanks.
What is?
And here's cannoli.
Is that a fish? Is that a fish? At his waist?
There's a fish nibbling on her elbow.
I'm awestruck here.
Looks like an egg. Yeah.
Oh, okay. But at least some of those other ones, I at least could get a feel for what this game was about. I'm totally lost.
There's some good Googlers in the chat. If they could find it, I couldn't.
Yes.
There was some. This was just an old picture. Yeah, I don't even know what that could even be. Little Spidey. I don't know if I should tell you how this game is being played, by the name of it. So,
I hope little Spidey's not too little.
I think he's 8 or 9. So it's okay. His dad lets him watch. But yeah, this is
Fair.
there you go. My grandpappy platinumed that game. I'm sure he did.
Why am I not surprised by that?
Yeah, so you got the bonus bad graphic design there.
Wow. That's incredible. I played some weird games, especially on Nintendo, but
yeah,
wow.
There's a lot of weird ones out there. It seemed like in the 80s, right, or like in the beginning of the video game era, they just made whatever to see what would stick, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if that one ever did. So now Rick is he's gonna try to Google it. So maybe later in the show we'll bring it back.
I might have to go do some research on this.
Well, good luck. I was surprised that it was even available because sometimes you can search like bad covers, and that one was right on the list. So yeah, I bet you Google is going to bring up some crazy
that's
stuff.
True.
Yeah, be careful, Rick. Don't make sure you're not on your work computer when you do that. So yeah, so speaking of games, this is about the time when I kind of plug something. Again, this is a game that I enjoy playing. Do you play mobile games by chance?
No, not really. I have before, but not at the moment.
Okay. Well, I won't spend too much time on this. I don't get paid to talk about this game. I just really enjoy it. So if you do enjoy mobile games, this one is called Dragon Champions. And I play with a couple people over there in the Salty Nerd Discord, where we have like a little group where you can collect characters, and then you can fight dragons and all kinds of stuff. It's literally free to play, and you don't have to spend. You can spend zero to little money to do anything. But yeah, I always try to promote this game when I can. But it's such a fun game. Here, even Joker. Thanks, Joker. So you can find it on Apple and Google. But yeah, if you're new here and you haven't heard of this game and you like mobile games, I do recommend it. And if you do go, so you can help out my friends over there at the Salty Nerd, you can use the word salty and they'll give you some extra gear. So wait. I've been slacking. I'm not the one that starts raids without asking the master, Boroba. Yeah, that was you. Yeah, that was you. People get mad at me because they want it on a certain day, on a certain time, and you started it like on a Tuesday afternoon. That doesn't work for us. So it's okay. I love giving them a hard time. But yeah, so if you want to check it out, you can. Apps Shadow Legends. What does this mean? Not sure what that means. I
think it's supposed to be like how people are always pushing Raid Shadow Legends.
Oh, okay.
I think that was supposed to be this is your version of it. But at least if you actually play this game, like
yeah.
I can't stand watching an ad where people are talking. These video makers are talking like they play this game when you know damn well they don't.
Oh no, I play it all the time. I literally played it last night. It doesn't literally if you're like just chilling before bed, or if like you're just waiting in line somewhere, or you're just kind of bored for 5 minutes, you can play. It's pretty funny. Wow, you typed that? That's pretty funny. Gameplay footage, maybe. I would have to set up a camera to record myself playing. That'd be kind of fun. So before we get to our main topic, which is the video game consoles, we also do something on here, and I kind of warned you. You're not afraid of spiders, are you?
Not particularly, no.
Okay, well, there are some people in the chat that might not like this next video, because I usually do a Cap freak out video just to see your reaction to it. but I don't. Since you don't like spiders, you may not. You may be okay. So, when they say when you go to bed, like sometimes you may wake up with a spider in your mouth.
I've heard that. I've also heard it's not true, but
Are you sure? Because
that's why I'm sure we're about to find out something new.
So if you do feel like you have a spider somewhere or your ear, did you know you can get it out with water?
That's nasty.
Yeah, it's just hanging out in his earlobe. He was hanging. He probably
Next
had like
time I feel like I have a spider in my ear, I'll remember to try that.
Yeah, he was probably playing some video games. Maybe
I feel like they're usually smart enough to not go crawling into orifices myself, but
yeah,
he crawl on. That's actually the weirder part to me. Just sitting there with it. That's the. Ugh.
Yeah, he just pops out there and hangs out on his shoulder.
And what would be your first reaction? I think I have a spider in my ear. I think I have a spider in my ear. Let me get my camera. That's just weird.
It's
I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced he didn't put it in there.
Yeah, Joker's not a big fan of any bugs, so that would make him kind of sorry, gross. Yeah, that's the part of the show where people they're a little they get a little freaked out.
I've been clenching my butthole in fear all week.
They don't like sometimes some of the stuff I show.
Last night I was up until like 3:00 playing Hogwarts Legacy because I was trying to finish a side quest, and I ended up having to clear out a bunch of nasty giant spiders. So
okay,
I'm all right.
Oh, in the video game, okay, not in your own home, right?
Yes.
You haven't. Okay.
I don't have to clear them out. I actually have quite a lot of spiders in my house for whatever reason, but they don't bother me.
I used to have a shed. I used to have a shed where you
agreement.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Go ahead. You're fine.
Like I'm gonna walk out of the room now, and if you're gone when I get back, then we're cool. If you're still here when I get back, I'm gonna kill you. But I give them a chance because they eat other gross bugs and they generally hide from me, so it's cool. My problem actually more is stink bugs. I hate those things. They gross me out.
Yeah. I had a shed one time where you had to be careful that if you opened it, there would be like 3 or 4 like black widows, so you had to like brush them away. So, Rick found the game. Huh.
Oh my god.
Well, I might have to check that out. So you're more than welcome to share
tonight.
Yeah, you're more than welcome to share it. Yeah. Yeah, most people do when that segment happens, they clench their butthole in fear. So yeah. So when I asked you if you could come on, we were going to talk about video game consoles, and because I've known you just said you played Hogwarts, and do you like that game? It's fun.
Oh, I love it. Oh, I'm having such a good time with it. I absolutely love it. I mean, I enjoy the Harry Potter IP, the whole wizarding thing anyway. But I actually don't tend to play newer games. And this is probably the first RPG type game I've played since Zelda Twilight Princess.
Oh, really?
And I'm having I'm having an absolute blast with it. It is so much fun.
Okay, and I've watched a few streamers play the game. I haven't played it myself, but it looks like the world is pretty big, so that's pretty cool.
It's amazing. I've been playing for like 80 hours, and I'm like 70% done, and I couldn't tell you how to get around the world without a map at all. It's huge.
Wow. Okay, cool. How long did it take you to get a broom?
Me personally, I think it took longer than most because it's part of the main quest. And I'm kind of a side quester. I like to do all the little things before I progress through the main game. So probably took me a little longer. I'd say maybe 20-ish hours before I got to that point.
Okay. All right.
That's a game changer, though. That's a game changer.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, because you can literally fly all over where you want to go. So I really like. So I
There's
just wanted to
something
go
else
through
you
like.
can fly too, if you get a little further along.
Oh, really? What is that?
You get to fly a hippogriff.
Oh, wow, that's pretty cool.
You may even be able to fly the Thestral, but I actually haven't tried.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Very cool. But video games have been around for at least a while, right? Since we were probably kids. And so I wanted to go through the consoles of the decades, and we're really just going to focus on probably like this when it started until like the early 2000s, because in my feeling, in my opinion, is a lot of the newer consoles, they're kind of the same thing. They're just a tad little better. There's not really anything too unique about them. Maybe their design, and that's it. Really the one that really pops out is like the original, except of it was Atari, right? And then also the Commodore with that weird game. Did you by chance at all play this system or anything?
I didn't own anybody? One. I didn't own one myself. My parents had friends who owned one, and we would, when we were over there, we would play on that occasionally, because my parents were young and they were all about Nintendo. So like, so it was already, Atari was already pretty old when I played it, but at that friend's house. But I have, yes, actually experienced one.
Okay. Yeah, because I bought one at a yard sale when I was like 10. Not knowing, I was like, oh, this might be cool. And then it came with all these games. And by that time I was already playing like Sega Genesis. So I was like, what is all this?
Okay.
But I do remember some of the games, it was one of the most successful ones in the 70s and 80s. A lot of people, it was launched in 1977. Here's one of the old ads from it. As you can see there, it was almost like a 8-track. If you ever know what that is, anybody knows what that is, you would put that in there, and then you had to adjust the TV settings and things like that. And then you had the weird controllers where it was like almost like an arcade game. I do remember a few movies, like Summer Vacation. There was like where the vacation movies were with Chevy Chase. They're playing a video game on Atari. This one had a Pitfall, Battlezone, Secret Quest. Those are some of and Combat. Those are some of the like the most popular ones that you hear about. Then there was like E.T. or like people hated and like buried it. No one bought. So it was pretty probably really cool and fascinating at the time. Cause I know there was some other ones that came around. Oh yeah, Cannoli. Sorry, man. I feel old. I had one of these. Well, it's okay. We know you're 60 something. So
vintage,
thanks for watching.
Not old, vintage.
Yeah, vintage. Yeah, Cannoli. He's a little vintage. Yeah. And my oldest brother had an Atari. Oh, and you still have it?
That's cool.
Does it work? Cool. Everybody liked the Atari. Look at this. Everyone's kind of saying, yeah, Vacation was Atari computer. No, okay, thanks for clarifying that. I do remember the joystick, so who knows? But the games were very basic. I do remember the basketball game. I had that one where you had to literally like try to put it in the hoop, and then it would like miss, and the ball was like a dot, but it like rolled. It was horrible. It wasn't great. So you said you said your parents were more into Nintendo.
Yes,
and we all know the the first system, the NES.
And this was like
right around the 80s. And I thought this Toys R Us ad was really cool. I do remember them. Brought back some nostalgia there, but as you can see, it came with yeah, me too. Look at that dad. He's like so ready to play. Like but it was in Japan, and it was a different name out there. But then they had Super Mario Brothers, Zelda, and then they came out with like almost, they said over 500 titles were available. And this was huge, right? The colors, the style of the game, because of all the pixels, and they say here, 2 kilobytes of RAM. That's nowadays that's nothing, right? That's like nothing. Yeah,
it's nothing. And hours and hours. I remember playing
Yeah.
on these things. Oh my God.
Yeah, Duck Hunt was a good one.
Duck Hunt.
Yeah, because that's the gun there. And all
Yep.
you youngins in the chat, we had a gun that
An actual gun.
Yeah, and you that thing would probably be banned nowadays. You probably couldn't even have it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, the dog was dumb.
It didn't work very good either, but
no, I remember some people would try to go fast, right, by putting their hand on it or something. I don't know.
There would be like tips and tricks, and you had to like work with your own TV sometimes, and you would figure out where exactly it needed to be for you to actually hit the stupid birds.
Okay, yeah, and a lot of people got them for Christmas. But if you look at the price there, so you got the gun, the 2 controllers, and the system for $149, and then there was some other extra thing there. But at that time, it was probably pretty expensive.
I was gonna say, yeah, and what would this be? 86?
Yeah, I think this was 80 something, 82, 84, 85. Yeah.
To be a lot.
Yeah. So it looks like they were open till midnight, Monday through Saturday, so you can get one. Let's see.
I don't think we got ours that year. I think we got ours a couple years later.
Well, here you go.
I recall.
My dad pranked me by blocking the gun sensor with a wad of paper. I was getting so mad at the game.
My dad would have done that. My dad would have done that if he thought of it.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. So I don't have one of these, but I do have a Switch where I have all the games that they provide online, but it's just not the same, right? So
no, it's not the same.
Yeah. And then the 90s came around. Yeah, and then that's when you got, we're going to talk about both. So that's when you got, first we're going to do the Super NES, and then you got the Sega consoles. But the Super NES was that next evolution of gaming. They changed the controllers, the way you loaded the game itself. Again, colors and the speed of the games were way better.
A big step up.
Big step up. It wasn't just like subtle differences like you kind of get today, right? And none of the games were backwards compatible. You just this is what you got. It was I remember when my next door neighbor got one of these, and we spent hours on hours playing like F-Zero and Super Mario, because back then it was like, wow, like you can see like shading on things, right? It was really cool. What was your favorite fond memory of this system?
What's funny is we didn't get one of these until I think quite late in the run, because I know we didn't have it in 90. We used our NES until well into the 90s. I feel like, well, I know my favorite game on this would have been actually Killer Instinct was my favorite game on this.
Yeah, that's one of the games I mentioned here, yeah.
We couldn't get one that had Mario on it. The one we got came with Killer Instinct, because I think my mom just bought it off the cuff or something. It was probably on sale, and it came with Killer Instinct. And that became my favorite game. I liked Mario Kart too, but those are probably the ones I played the most on that. But I didn't play that much on this system. Donkey Kong Countries, the Donkey Kong Country games. Yes, those were big at our house too.
Yeah, and then you had like games like this. What Rick is saying, NBA Jam. The cartridge alone was $80, I guess. $80. F-Zero was great.
Wow.
If you play Mario Kart 8, I think right now one of the tracks is a F-Zero track, which is fun.
That is a good track.
Yeah, and then
I don't do well at it, but it's a good track.
Yeah, a lot of people would say this was the best system out of the 90s, but there are some people that love, the next one, and that is the Sega Genesis.
That was mine. That was mine right there. This one I bought myself. I was 9. I was 9 and I wanted one of these. My parents weren't going to buy it for me. My mom took me to the store. It was a Myers. I remember that. It's a regional chain. It's like basically like a Super Target or a Super Walmart, where they just sell everything. And I put the thing on layaway, and every time we'd buy groceries, I'd go in with my little allowance money, my little chore money, and I saved up and I bought that thing for myself, and it was mine. I didn't have to share I didn't have to let anybody else use it. It was all mine. And that was still one of my best memories ever. This was
Yeah.
like my 90s console.
Yeah, I mean, I never had a Super NES, but I did have a friend. But this is one of the consoles as well that I got for like Christmas. So I was super excited about that. Um, and there was the Sega Genesis and there was the Mega Drive, which came before that. But most people remember the Genesis, and you had Sonic, you had Sonic 2, you had Golden Axe, you had not many people remember this game, but it was like Echo the dolphin.
Echo Dolphin. Oh my, that is one of my favorite. It was hard as all get out. Absolutely. I never got very far in that game, but I still loved it. I would just swim around in the beginning all the time. I think I could get maybe 2 or 3 levels in before I just gave up, because it's a seriously hard game, but it was so pretty.
It was very pretty. It was really like it had the calming music, it had the water, and most people don't remember that game, but
I love that game so much. I still love that game. I actually downloaded something off of Steam, which is like a Sega Genesis, like it's the games. I set it up and I know it works. I haven't actually played it yet, but it's funny too. You remember book orders, right?
Yeah,
school.
Yeah, I remember book orders.
I bought a game through the book order that was about like all the Sega games, and it had a section on Echo, and it had all the cheat codes for all the levels. So I got to see and play a little bit in every level. But by the time you get to like the 20th level and you haven't played all the way through, you're not going to get anywhere in that level. So it doesn't matter. But I at least got to see them.
That's cool. Yeah, I don't know if I ever beat it, but
absolutely right.
It's very weird. Yeah, it was well known as being one of the weirdest games. Yeah, and you have no idea that Dolphin game would be about aliens. Yeah, it was good. Some other people are saying they like the X-Men game, Mortal Kombat with blood.
I ever played a X-Men game.
Yeah,
Mortal Kombat with blood.
Yeah, because the Super NES they didn't have it was like green, I think, and then you had so all the kids that had Mortal Kombat on Sega Genesis, you were always at their house playing. So,
do you just remember how I remember the ad campaigns, where Sega would take like pot shots at Nintendo and really roast them, and it was just Sega just seemed so cool.
Yeah, it was because so if you were playing games from probably 88 to probably 93 or 94, you were either playing the Sega Genesis or the Super NES, or both if you were lucky.
Yeah.
But a lot of people enjoyed a lot. And then they had like a battle. Do you remember those? Where like they would say like Sega they were like the console wars, right? They were always trying to do things. Like one would say, well, now we've got this cool CD thing that you can add, or the other one had some type of other there it is. Sega do what Nintendo don't.
Nintendo.
Yeah, I remember that.
Jock Nerdy actually had a really great video about kind of like the rise and fall of Sega. Yeah, that's a really good video, and it well researched, and it goes into all that stuff, and it's fascinating. Yeah,
so if anyone in the chat wants to get a real in-depth history on Sega itself and like that wars and all that, check out Jock Nerdy's channel. I know he's been he's in the middle of a move, or he was moving.
Yeah, he's got a lot going on right now. So
yeah, but he definitely has a few good videos about this topic in general. So
go check them out for sure.
Yeah, and then you got the PlayStation, and I remember when PlayStation. Yeah, most people were like, "What is the PlayStation?" Right? Like no one really thought about it. But then when you started seeing games like your friend, people, I didn't get one until much later. But but there's a little known fact that Sony and Nintendo were originally going to do it together. It was going to be the Nintendo PlayStation, and Jock Nerdy does talk about this. And then they decided, nah, we're going to do our own thing, and it did wonders.
Didn't they shop it to both Sega and Nintendo?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
And they
Yep.
both turned it down, and they just said, "Fine, we'll do it.
We'll do it ourselves.
So we'll do it
Yeah.
ourselves."
And look at them now, right? They're still here, and
Mhm.
Sega's just making games. Nintendo's kind of goes up and down, but yeah, Crash Bandicoot was a good game for this. Need for Speed. There's other ones there. Parappa the Rapper. Do you remember that game?
No.
No. Okay, so Parappa the
Well,
Rapper was a game.
I
It was
didn't
kind of like
actually. I was
oh, you
gonna say
didn't play it.
I I've never owned a Sony console,
Oh,
so
okay.
I don't. So if anything, most of the exclusives, like I know of Crash Bandicoot and stuff like that because he shows up in Nintendo stuff now too sometimes, or other
Smash
games
Brothers.
anyway.
Yeah.
Is he okay? So I
Parappa
know
the
I've seen him
Rapper.
somewhere in other games.
Parappa the Rapper was kind of like Guitar Hero, but you were rapping, but you had to hit certain
Oh
buttons.
God!
And he was like but he was also fighting. He was like a ninja type of thing. So like if you hit the right buttons correctly, he would fight some boss, but he was rapping while he did it. And it was kind of in this like South Park animation where they
Oh
were very
my!
flat, like paper. Oh my gosh, it
I
was
have to look this up. This sounds
one of my
amazing.
favorite games.
If
I
you
wish I
screwed
can
up, then
find
did
it.
he get his butt kicked?
Yeah, you would die, but you come back. And this was one of the PlayStation was, I believe, and I know there's probably somebody that could correct me. That's when they started coming out with the memory cards, where you can save your game, and then remember because of Nintendo and the Super
Yeah.
NES, it only saved if you had like a little code or something.
Yeah, it sounds about
crazy.
right.
Yeah, but this one you got the memory cards, and you also got the see-through controllers. Do you
I
kind of remember
remember
that kind of
those.
stuff?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
Everything was see through in the late '90s. It was a thing.
yeah, blue or green. Oh, look I can see the microchips. Like that's cool.
Yeah.
I know the guy who does the voice of Crash. Okay, that's
Okay.
really cool.
Cool.
Awesome, that's really cool. Didn't they have the bike game with the turn single joke with a grandma? Yes, I think so. Yeah. But yeah, I do remember the PlayStation 1. It was kind of neat when it came out. And it was also CDs. So it wasn't a cartridge.
That was
so
a big thing.
it was, because then you had the Sega CD that was trying to do the same thing, and they didn't do very well. But this is a Target ad, pretty cool. It's got some of the games up there. I think it was neat. And then also in the same time period, mid '90s, you got the Nintendo 64. Did you have that? Did you have this at all?
I didn't have one, but my boyfriend did.
Okay. Yeah, they also had the see-through controllers and like the multicolor controllers, but this was Nintendo's answer to the PlayStation, where they had 2D graphics and there was more than 2D graphics, and they had three-dimensional gaming experience. And you had GoldenEye comes to mind, right? Everyone loves GoldenEye.
That's got to be the biggest one. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Mario was in 3D.
Mario.
Yeah.
I could not play that game. I could not make it work right. It made me nauseous. Nothing made sense. So I tried to play it. Did not work for me.
And everybody was used to the controllers like this, right? With that PlayStation Nintendo had earlier. But then you got this other controller where you can hold it many different ways. So like a lot of people, when they play GoldenEye, they held the middle part, and that was how they played it. So a lot of people had to get used to that. I do remember that. I also remember the expansion pack that like gave you an extra boost of graphics, they said.
Oh, I don't remember that.
So if you look at a Nintendo 64, on the top there's like this little port, and you pop that open, you can stick things in there. And one of it was this called the expansion pack. So you would push it in there, and they would like give your Nintendo 64 more power to run better graphic games. So like Rogue Squadron comes to mind when you think about that. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah.
We liked Perfect Dark. That was when we played all the time.
Yeah, that game is very valuable if you have the original game, by the way. It's a very valuable
I guess I should look. We have a box with like with a bunch of old stuff in it. I should check it out.
Yeah, if you have the box
to the game. Oh no, I
and the
definitely don't have the
game,
box. I know that.
and then the packaging that came with the box, it's your
Absolutely, we wouldn't have those. So, but it's
yeah,
just
Perfect
nice to
Dark
own
and
something.
yeah, perfect. A lot of people fought over
I
this.
I kind of agree with Broba. I mean, GoldenEye is great, but I had a lot more fun playing Perfect Dark myself.
Yeah, I wish they would put Perfect Dark on the Switch. I think a lot more people would have fun with
I
that.
don't know why they did. They did a re-release, I think, at some point, but it was a remaster or something, and it just wasn't as good.
Yeah, there you go.
I didn't think so.
I think you made a fan out of Broba.
I like Broba. That's cool.
Have a good night, Joker.
Was Conker's Bad Fur Day was a 64 game, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we played the heck out of that one too. That was such a weird, fun game. But I love weird. Weird is kind of my jam. So
it was the one where he like they went through each like versions of like a movie, right? Like
yeah.
Like the beginning, he was going through like Saving Private Ryan, and then you would do a different movie. I can't remember all of them, but
I can't either. It's been so long, but it's there's some things you just don't forget. Like the little teddy bears and the the literal crap monster that you have to fight at some point.
Yeah. Oh, the 90s.
Talk about a game that could not get made today.
No, it wouldn't. I don't think it would. No, there's a lot of games now that probably would get edited down. And then you get into the 2000s, and that's when you get the second PlayStation, which this is when you started getting into the really high end games that were kind of close, where you had the big world games, right? So you had like GTA, you had Gran Turismo, God of War started here, but there was a lot of hype around this one. The one thing I do remember about the PlayStation 2, it was a brick and it was solid. I had one when I was in college when this one came out, and when I was had a bunch of roommates, and that thing got beer spilled on it, it got kicked over, it got Cheetos on it, people slept on it. It fell behind the TV multiple times, and that thing still worked like 5 years later.
Those things lived through a lot of college dorms. That's the only time I ever played one of these was at college with friends.
Yeah.
I didn't own one myself. Number one, because I didn't need to. If everyone I live with already has one, what do I need one for? But also, this is where things, like you said, really kind of started to veer off into more high end, more involved, and more complicated than kind of what I was used to. I was happy with my Nintendo, so it's like I didn't really get too much into this, except for just when I would play with roommates.
Yeah,
the best-selling DVD player.
It was, because it was awesome. You had a video game system and a DVD player, and it also had they changed the controllers a little bit, but you could either stand it up this way or you can lay it down, right? And I remember with ours, it was working for a while, like flat, and then for it to only work, we had to flip it, and it only worked standing up. It would not work any other way. So that was pretty funny. PS2 might be the second best console ever. And that's a great question. We'll ask everybody in the chat after we review everyone what you think is the best out of all these. Let's see. I had a buddy that worked at Target when these came out. Hid one in the back. Yeah, I did that. I did that with an N64. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Yeah,
that's a big risk. You get fired for that.
So many people never knew you could rotate the logo on the disc tray if you wanted to stand it up on the. Yeah. That was they had some cool tricks, right? It was a neat system. I liked it. It even had the load screen. Do you remember the screensaver? Like when you would leave it on, it had like the squares and stuff. Yeah, and now you see that all the time. So very different. I wanted to bring this one up because I remember. Do you remember the GameCube at all? Most people don't. No? Are you frozen? I think she's frozen. Did we lose her? I think we lost her. Oh boy. Okay. Well, does anybody remember the GameCube? I think we lost her. I'm gonna just do this real quick. The GameCube was another game where it was like Nintendo's like last project where they were trying to keep up with some competition before they started doing their own thing, and they just wanted to be like a different look, and they started to do more exclusive titles on this thing, but it was a very unique thing. I think you were able to play video game like Game Boy games on it. It was able to take the little cartridges, I believe, that you could play with. But you had like Resident Evil on this. You had Super Smash Brothers. Pikami was a fun one. But most people don't remember the GameCube. But if you had one, you would be you had fun. It was a fun one. It was kind of like you would say now with the Switch. Like it had its own little niche of people who would play it. Game Boy Advance games. Thanks so much. I could not remember, but you did, and it did have a weird controller where you can it was kind of like the 64, but it was a little different. Welcome back.
I don't know what
you there?
this is about now. I had to hook it up to my phone's hotspot because the internet decided to just. We're on GameCube now, which is good.
Good? You liked it? Did you have one?
Yes, we did. We had one. I unironically love this console. I know it's not the most popular ever, but loved this one so much.
Most people forget about it, but it
highly underrated.
It had where you could play 4 people at once, right? And I said when you were off screen, I said it played Game Boy Advance games, which was neat.
Yep.
So it was kind of like the Switch now, right? You can take those games and play on a different system and take them on the go. Super Smash Brothers comes to mind.
Oh, yeah. Smash Brothers was excellent on this. This had the Double Dash Mario Kart, which is, I think, one of the best Mario Karts there is, honestly. That was just so much fun.
Yeah. There was a Game Boy Advance attachment. Yeah. Yep. There you go. Thank you. Dude, the GameCube is highly loved.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, good. It seems like people, anytime I hear people talking about it, they kind of dismiss it. So
yeah,
I'm glad to hear that then, because
you must be in a different. It's okay. I think Bro was a little younger than us, so I think in our generation, we kind of passed it off. Like I don't think we really liked. There was only a small group of people who liked it, but I think in maybe the younger crowd, it was like their maybe Nintendo 64.
Like the first one that they got, maybe like a hand-me-down, and they got that because they couldn't have
maybe
that's the first that you get started on, maybe the one you cut your teeth on. That kind of makes sense because like it came out around the same time as PlayStation 2, and it was PlayStation 2 was way more technologically advanced. So, I think maybe you're right. People our age were like, well, I want the shiniest, biggest, best one. So,
I didn't know a lot of people that had it. I had one friend who had it. I had one friend who had it.
We loved it. We loved it. That's still one of my favorite consoles. We had this really cool X-Men. It was a fighting game. It was like Mortal Kombat, but it was X-Men characters. And that was a ton of fun. I want to say it was called X-Men Dimensions. I want to say it was called.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, I think it was kind of an unusual one. I'm sure it was a bargain bin thing, but I had a ton of fun. And the best part of that to me was that you could play as both Psylocks.
If you're 35, bro, you're still younger than me. Let's see here. So the next one I wanted to bring up was the one that really kind of like, what is this? And this is Microsoft right? Came out with the Xbox. I thought this was a cool ad where assume their power. And this was actually an ad that went into Australia, but it was all their ads were like this, very green, black. And the Xbox people were kind of like intrigued about it. Some people maybe didn't want to use it because the controller was very different, right? It was kind of looked like we don't have it on this list, but it kind of looked like what is that? The Sega. Oh man, I can't remember it now, but it had another wonky controller. But this one,
the Dreamcast, maybe.
I think the Dreamcast. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's what it was. Yeah. But this one when you got Halo, and anyone who
Yes.
played the Halo game, they fell in love with this system. And as you know now, you got quite a few titles of Halo. You've got a sort of
Yeah.
out of a crappy TV show. You've got some fan favorite movies, fan made movies that they've done. So Halo was a smash hit with this one,
It was
and
a phenomenon. Yeah.
I really don't think it would have done really well if it didn't have Halo. That's what I feel. I feel like a lot of people got Xbox because of Halo, and the fact that you can do the LAN connection, right? You can play with someone
I
next
can see
to
that.
you. Yeah, a lot of people got the Xbox. Oh, really? I can like have my Xbox here and
Yeah.
play, and then play with someone in the other room. They call those LAN parties. So, yeah. Halo was the system
Yeah.
seller. I don't think if Halo wasn't on this, I don't think they would have made it. Let's see here. Once I played Halo, never went back. Someone said I sucked at it. Yeah, most people weren't that great at it. I was better at the Halo 2, the 2 game. But I remember the first time I played Halo, I bought the systems the next day. See, there you go. I really don't think if it didn't have Halo, I don't think this would have made it out of it done very well.
This one just really appealed to guys my husband's age, because he was exactly the same. I liked Fable. I didn't play Halo myself, but I did like Fable.
Fable was on this one too, and that was a good game. That's one of my favorites.
It was a really good game.
That was one of those games where you got to choose, right, on your destiny. I think that was
it had a morality system. It would shape your character based on the decisions you made, which was, I think, pretty unusual.
I think it was.
I don't know
very
if it was
new.
the first, but it was new.
I think it was probably where your physical appearance changed, right?
Yep.
Other games, it might have been the story. But yeah, Fable 1 and 2 were great.
Yep.
And I would say, Fable 3 was kind of a
I don't talk about 3. Yeah.
So, look at Rick's always bringing in the video game facts. Halo was originally.
I love these fun facts. I love it.
Halo was originally going to be on Apple computer exclusively.
Wow.
Well,
can you imagine that?
You probably would have had to pay for everything, like updates.
Yeah, no joke. But it's like, would it have had anywhere near the same amount of? Would Halo have gotten people to buy Apple computers? I'm not so sure.
I don't know. I really don't. That's a good question. So apparently Broba said something first. Okay.
I can't see the chat, so don't blame me, Broba.
And then you got the Nintendo Wii a little bit later. And this was another kind of game changer, right? Because this was the motion sensor type of close to virtuality type of game that you could probably get in your home. And it was CD based, which was a little different. Nintendo didn't really do that a lot. And then you had
they like their cartridges.
Yeah, even the Switch now has cartridges, right?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, and it had the unique design where you can lay it flat or stand up, so it's kind of like a PlayStation 2. But this one had what I thought was cool, like Mario Kart. You could put it in a steering wheel and drive it.
We had those. We had 4 of those.
Yeah, and then if you there were some where you started getting crazy games like Star Wars, where you had like an actual saber, like a lightsaber, and you would stick it in there.
There was a Harry Potter game where you use it as a wand. Zelda Twilight Princess was my favorite game on this console, and you had to utilize the 2 different control things for it. Like if you were doing your sword, you'd swing the remote around. If you were using like as a bow and arrow, you had to do like different moves depending on what weapon you were using. And a lot of people didn't like that, but I honestly had fun with it. I enjoyed it.
Do you remember the Wii board that you would snowboard on or dance?
Yep.
One thing I do remember this is when you started, because video on the internet like YouTube was just starting as well. This is when you started getting like videos of people like smashing their TVs with these joysticks, because they would just
Yeah.
throw them by accident, or they would break
Mhm.
something else in the house. Now you see that a lot now with VR videos
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So it's kind of funny. But I do remember when this first came out, there was a lot of hype around it.
Yeah.
I've probably mentioned this before, but there was a lady, and I believe it was in Sacramento, where she was on a contest to win this thing, and she had to drink a bunch of water and not pee on a radio station. Unfortunately, she passed away after the
Yeah.
contest. Yeah, and
Ruptured bladder or something?
yeah, she got really sick when she got home, and
Oh my
unfortunately, so
god.
there was a mad craze about this console.
I remember I actually worked at a Target at this time.
Yeah, so did I. I worked in retail, and people were just bonkers about this game. This is when you also started seeing things being sold on eBay. Like they would buy them,
Yes.
and then they would sell it for a lot more on eBay. So this is one of those systems that really did that.
Yeah.
I never played the Pirates game. I wonder how good that was.
I never did either.
Yeah, and you have Twilight Princess was the best Wii game. Okay.
I think I agree. That was my favorite. I wish they would make that the Switch to make another one. I really wish they would do that. I don't know why they won't. It can't be that hard.
Yeah, that's true.
I would love to play it again.
Yeah, and that's where where I said earlier, where the systems just started getting, they didn't really have a lot of flair to them, right? They just started doing the same kind of thing.
It's
like
the same stuff, just streamlined or upgraded. That's all they are, really.
And
Nintendo
that's when
still tries new things. But.
Yeah, like Nintendo, the Wii U was kind of like a Switch. It's kind of like a Switch.
Yeah.
And then you got the Switch, which was very, very different. It was pretty cool that you could put it and play it on your big screen, or you can take it away, or you can like pop off the controllers. I think it's a very versatile.
I like it.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, now we're kind of in this like video game where they're not really. It's kind of like a cell phone, right? You buy one. What's really different about it? Okay, yeah, I got a new camera, or it like might be a little bigger, or the screen
slightly better frame rate, or
It's not like they're really pushing the envelope too much to where you're like, yes, I want that, right? They're not too different, and that's where you get like a lot of the ones that are listed here. So you don't really. I miss the good old days where you did have Sega and Nintendo kind of fighting over each other about who was better.
I agree. Consoles to me don't, aside from Nintendo, really. I mean, the Xbox and the PlayStation have never honestly appealed to me. They just never have, for that same reason. It's the same thing, just maybe a little bit better. And like new games that either are exclusive to those platforms, or that need that kind of power, I would just assume play on my computer. It's a lot cheaper because I already have the computer that'll work those games. I don't need to go try to track down a $600, PlayStation.
Yeah, and PC gaming is probably where that's at right now, where you can build your own thing and make it unique and make it have all kinds of crazy colors and maybe look different. Like we see ads for like Meta PC that they're making all kinds of cool stuff, and that reminds me of the consoles back in the day where they all looked kind of different and they had some style to them. So but yeah, there you go. So what was, out of all those game systems, and anyone in the chat can answer this too, what was your favorite out of all those?
I'm gonna go back to the first NES. I think is my favorite. Like that's the one I played for like probably the most. That's one where I had every console. There was a handful of games that I loved, but that's the only one where I would have to narrow it down. My favorite games on that console. There were so many of them. I played just a bunch of different games. I played them all the time. There's just so many good memories in it for me. So I would say probably, that's probably my favorite.
Okay. Mine would probably be the Sega Genesis, but Broba says the 360.
Sega's right behind. Genesis is right behind for me.
Okay, and
360,
then we got Super.
that was a good one.
And
Super
we got
Nintendo was good.
Yeah, and then
I've liked pretty much every console that I've ever owned.
Okay.
So it's hard to say. Wii U, I would probably say
I don't know if
meh.
this is a console. It's more of a handheld. Maybe that's a different show. Maybe we could do a different show on that. But yeah, most people say the Xbox 360. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
that was a big one. That was a really big.
it was,
big
but it was
release.
that. I think it was that point of when you started like getting the same old stuff, just different. So
I think that one. I think with that one, it was like it came out, like you said, like Halo got a lot of people to buy into Xbox in the first place. I think when the 360 came out, it kind of felt a little bit like exciting because it was the same thing, only more. And I think you get one of those, and then when it's that way every time, I think you lose a little bit of interest every time.
Yeah.
At least I do.
That's pretty funny. So okay, cool. So the last segment, and most people love waiting around for this one, is we always try to look at a Bigfoot video. Do you believe in Bigfoot?
I don't not believe in Bigfoot.
Okay, that's good. Most people. What do
I
you think?
actually, when I was a kid, I had every intention of becoming a cryptozoologist.
Oh, really? Okay.
But my specialty was sea creatures.
Oh, okay. Well, we do a little segment here where we look at videos that I've found on the internet that could be Bigfoot.
Nice.
So I found this video on Instagram, and this could be a Yeti. But this video was shared, I guess, captured in 2009. I know it's a little fuzzy, like all Bigfoot videos.
They always are.
Yeah. So if you look here, this little Yeti is walking on rocks here, kind of looking for some food. This dude got scared. They always get scared on these videos.
Scared.
Yeah. Like they see it walking and then it looks at them and they drop the camera. It's like, why can't you stay focused? Obviously he can't see you.
And he's right out in the open too. Like
I know. Yeah. What do you think? Real or not real?
I don't think real.
Okay. What do you think it is? A guy in like a suit or something?
That's my guess. I'm so disinclined to believe anything I see in a video, to be honest, because most of the time I'm wondering why you're even filming this in the first place. How did you catch something like this? Why were you filming? See, look, there we go.
He says it was him.
No, yeah. I'm not too convinced by that one, but okay. I'm not.
If there was a Bigfoot, how do you explain him always having fuzzy videos? And
you ever see? Are you familiar with a comedian from a long time ago, Mitch Hedberg?
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite bits. I think Bigfoot is blurry. That's the problem. Yeah. There's a large, out of focus monster roaming the countryside.
Yeah. I mean, maybe. I mean, he's always filmed, and then if you do see a clear picture, everyone's not going to believe you. So, I mean,
right? Yeah, you kind of can't win with it, but I don't say something's not real because you can't prove something's not real. So I'm always willing to take a look.
Okay, some people say he's like from another dimension, so that's why he's fuzzy.
I mean, you can't discount that possibility. It would explain a lot.
Yeah. Well, some people say that's a Bubba in a suit. Some people don't believe. Okay. Well, we'll never know. We have two Yeti. We have a Yeti and a cannoli that watch this stream, and I think that's the only two in the world. So this one likes cannolis a lot.
Who doesn't like cannolis?
I think he likes keto cannolis, which I don't know if that sounds very good, but he's on a keto diet at the moment. So
hey, I admire the willpower. That's not for me. When we finish this, I'm gonna go eat a huge hunk of homemade bread. So
okay, all right, very cool. That sounds good. Just a hunk of bread, right? Are you gonna dip it in anything?
No, probably grab some cheese to go with it.
All right. Well, again, everyone, it's been great. We're coming up here on the hour. We're a little over the hour, but that's okay. Had a great time. Is there anything that you're doing in the next couple weeks that you would like to share with the group?
I don't usually get too far ahead. I'm kind of a on the fly kind of recorder, but this Saturday, the goal is Saturday. I'm actually done. I'm just waiting to get through copyright and stuff. This weekend is going to be my reaction to Full Metal Jacket.
Oh, okay.
And I'm actually going on Mephisto's show on Saturday. We're going to talk about it, talk about the
Okay.
movie. So that'll be good. I am toying with an idea of doing a month of Brendan Fraser movies.
Ooh.
Because there's a few I haven't seen, and I think that might be fun to do. To have a
Okay. Do you have a
little
list,
theme.
or do you want people to suggest these movies?
I know I Blast from the Past.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Bedazzled has been suggested a few times, so there's that one. Encino Man, because I've never actually seen it.
Ooh.
So that's a good one. That one I think is going to get done no matter what.
You
and
have
then
to do that one.
And then I need a fourth. I'm not entirely sure which one to do for the fourth one. So
Okay.
ideas welcomed.
All right. Well, you heard that. So if anyone wants to suggest a movie, you know where to find her on Twitter. You can tag her and show her what movies you would like to see her review. I think that's a great idea. Brandon Fraser. Yeah, Airheads was a good one. Yeah.
Oh yes, that one I was thinking about too. Yes.
You could
we
probably
may
do
already
2
have our
months.
fourth.
You could probably do
We
2
already have
months.
our month. Maybe you probably could. He's great. He's got a lot of great stuff.
That's pretty funny. All right. Well, it's great seeing everyone in the chat. I appreciate it, and I do appreciate you coming on. I hope you had a good time.
Absolutely, I had a great time. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. All right, everybody. Again, I might have a live show next week. I will keep you updated. But I will talk to everyone later, and have a good night. See you.